Hey guys, welcome back to Everlasting Summer. I apologize, I did not realize my new mic was such low quality sounding, but I guess I'll do something about that after this playthrough is done, I guess. Maybe. Well, anyways, we're going to do day 3. Okay, here we go. The night left a feeling of anxiety behind. I woke up exhausted, both physically and mentally. It happens to me all the time. You see incredibly lucid images in your dream, as if you fell into a Hollywood blockbuster with a plot full of twists. Well paid actors, multi-million-dollar visual effects, and then you wake up in the morning without remembering a thing. That's what I was trying to do, to restore the images shown by my relaxed brain, but they were part of my memory was empty, either archived or formatted quickly. It's 7 a.m. according to the clock. I seem to be an early bird today. Olga is still sleeping, wrapping tightly in her blanket. Wrapping so tightly in a hot summer. Oomph. I got up, stretched, and went to the mirror to have a look at myself. I better shave. Strange idea. Before, twice a month was enough, but now nothing depends on the way I look. I haven't found a razor anyway. Why do I even need it if I look like I'm 17 at most? So, breakfast can start earlier than 9 a.m., and this means I have plenty of time, which I can spend on walking and washing, for example. The water didn't seem as cold as ice as the previous day. On the contrary, it was refreshing coolness helped me to brace up, come back to reality, whether all these events could be real. The tooth powder didn't seem to be such an outdated thing. A quick thought struck me that it's not that different from toothpaste. I wouldn't know, I never seen tooth powder. When I returned to the cabin, Olga was already up. She was standing in front of the mirror and fixing her hair. Good morning, Semyon. Morning. Because of a lack of sleep, my head was still singing and my thoughts were all jumbled together. However, I didn't regret waking up instead of my usual habit of sleeping in for 2 or 3 more hours. How come he got up so early? It just happened. No neckerchief once again. I'll do it myself. Not a big deal. On my way to the canteen. I don't think so. Do it now. Did you forget about the lineup before breakfast? How could I forget? And what's the lineup going to be about today? We'll discuss the agenda for the day. So what's the agenda? Frankly speaking, I didn't care for what might be on the agenda. For our courageous pioneer troops, I was mostly interested in where our brave leader will send our little pioneer army for the following 12 to 15 hours. Maybe I could manage to avoid enemy locations. Okay, there, finally you loaded. You'll find that out the lineup. She gave me a wily smile. Olga, you know my stomach is getting upset. I'd rather, well, I believe that's okay to miss the lineup once. It could get all nasty if I failed to control it right there. Where did all this courage come from? You have 5 more minutes. I'm afraid I need more time. Could you tell me right now, please? Sure, I'll try, but just in case it all goes down. Oh, fine. On our list for today is cleaning the camp locations, organizing the books in the library, some other minor tasks, and of course we have a ball in the evening. Watch yourself. You must take part in the camp activities today. You bet. Definitely, and now I'd rather... Come on, let's hit the road. I came out the cabin and hid in the bushes behind it, waiting for Olga to leave. Actually, I didn't have any particular reason to behave this way, but the voice within me kept telling me that I have nothing to do at the lineup. After the camp leader left, I went back to the cabin and decided to wait for breakfast there. Okay. Well, I'm not planning on taking part in the community life today. Cleaning and organizing. That's not what someone in my situation should be doing. 2 days have passed and I'm still right where I started. All the residents seem to be perfectly ordinary people. They weren't involved in any conspiracy, weren't communicating with aliens, and had no idea about time warps. Of course, each of them is a bit peculiar, but those peculiar do not seem out of line at all. Moreover, if I had met any of those pioneers of my familiar world, I wouldn't suspect anything wrong. They seem to be even more normal and natural than, let's say, yours truly. This line of reasoning was quite logical. The logical part was the absence of answers. Ordinary people in an extraordinary place. I heard and seen that already somewhere. That's the pioneers, or even more, live their family lives and do their regular stuff day by day. They don't understand that the world around them is not what it looks like. Okay, but this is their point of view. As for me, I'm not acquainted with the world of the Soviet camp and its residents, even if they seem to behave the way normal people would under the same circumstances. I decide here and now, are those people involved in what's happening to me? Can they give me answers? Or do I have to seek the truth somewhere else? I don't know, dude. ... It seems I have overdid it with the thinking. There's no usual crowd of hungry pioneers near the canteen. It's all empty. Or even inside the canteen. Most of them probably had their breakfast before 9 a.m. That's even better. 2's company, 3's a crowd. Lena was sitting in the farthest corner of the canteen, lazily picking with her fork at an amphiphoral lump that vaguely resembled porridge. Having a breakfast with her seemed like a good idea. We can have a chat in peace, or at least try to have one. I was on the way to her table when suddenly someone grabbed me by the sleeve. Xenia the librarian. Get your meal and come. We need to talk. ... What are you waiting for? I was a bit confused. Pardon, isn't this a bit too sudden? What's wrong? Get your meal and sit down. I suppose that she considers her behavior completely normal. Okay, let me check the guide. Should I sit or do I talk to her or no? Okay, fine. Wait a minute. I'm not sure why, but I accepted the invitation. What if I can learn something new? She's such a bookworm. A minute later, I was sitting in front of a zinnia with a tray and a simple meal on it. Porridge, 2 eggs, 4 pieces of white bread, a sausage, and a glass of compote. Bon appetit. Thanks. I decided to act as politely as I could and also eat more neatly, without chomping and spilling crumbs of food or drops of compote. So what do you want to talk about? Today at the library. I wasn't listening from this point onwards. I immediately recalled Olga's words about the scheduled events for today. Don't forget. Oh, what? I said don't forget to visit the library after lunch. What for? Were you even listening? Nope. I admitted honestly. Xenia's face turned red and then appeared green, then took a soft purple color. Today after lunch, you in the library. Got it, dunce? Dunce? What kind of curse is that? As a pioneer, I must never use a curse word. How could I forget this rule? Oh yeah, sure, I apologize. Of course, I'll be right there. Actually, I wasn't really planning going anywhere, but if you want me to make someone speak, you sacrifice a bit first. By the way, what year is it now? I'm totally lost count. I decided to play it fair. She looked at me, perplexed, and answered, have you gone completely bananas? Honestly, that's how I felt for the last few days. Xenia didn't reply. So what year is it? I smiled kindly. Listen, why don't you visit the infirmary? Will they tell me what year it is there? Oh, certainly, and even more. Xenia stood up and headed to the exit. Wait, you didn't finish your meal, but it looks like she won't turn back. Okay, I was finishing chewing on the sausage, which tasted like a twisted pear cable. I wonder if they have internet access here. I guess not. A pioneer sitting at the table nursed me talking to myself and stared at me. I smiled and waved to him in return. After such a friendly greeting, he for some reason left the canteen quickly without finishing his breakfast. Done with the food, it's time to search for some clues. Sometime later, I finally came to the infirmary. I have nothing to do in that place. Though the nurse seemed quite caring, it's better to keep a distance from her. Such benevolence, it's actually scary. She may know something, but I just hadn't had the courage to enter the infirmary. Moreover, I had no reason to, not a single one. Immersed in my own thoughts, I didn't notice the nurse who was standing on the porch. Hi there, pioneer. She came closer. You must be sick. Did you come for some medicine? No, I was wandering around. Oh, a truant, I see. But if you're here, I have a serious task for you. I gave her a look of inquiry. The word task made me feel uneasy. It sounded like something inevitable. The nurse smiled spitefully. You both will help me make an inventory of the supply of medicine which arrived today. Both? Who are we? Perhaps I misheard, but the word could be confused with both. Wait, what? What did I just say? Whatever. Hi. Lena emerged from behind the nurse's back. It seems strange that I didn't notice her until now. Come here after dinner. I have explained everything to Lena. She will tell you what to do. Missing, huh? Supplied today? But Olga told me that no bus would arrive in the next couple of days. So there were visitors to our camp today? Yes, they arrived in the city this morning. Why are you asking? Just curious. Alright then, Pioneer. So tonight after dinner, you'll be here. Maybe, Ulyana was barely noticeable this whole time. Surely she's able to remain invisible like a skilled ninja. I could do it on my own. No way, there are lots of boxes, and the Pioneer is always ready. Isn't that so, Pioneer? She gazed at me and smiled menacingly. I don't want to spend the whole evening doing something like this, and I've got more important things to do. But rejecting this request would be really improper. If it wasn't Lena who was standing here, I would definitely think my way out. Okay, what does the guide say? Okay, it wants me to not do it. You know, Olga asked me to help, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I shouldn't have lied to her. I should think before I say something. Oh, really? And what exactly are you going to be helping her with? It was turning out bad, but I decided to stand my ground. Her cabin. Just for me to clean it up, sort things out, and so on. But you know what a mess a cabin is. Sure, she asked you to tidy up her closet too? Then it struck me so intensely that Napoleon's fiasco at the Battle of the Waterloo seemed now in a small annoyance. Okay, go away, Yamo. I want to see the rest of the sentence. There we go. Compared to my current flop. I don't know if you guys could see that or not, because I don't know if that's part of the in-game, but someone's popped up saying what game they're playing on Steam. I was going to say something, but she continued to speak. Okay then, Pioneer. We'll manage it without you. I apologize, but you see, I said and looked at Lena. She stood looking at the ground like before, blushing more and more. It's alright, I'll manage it on my own. Okay then, an awkward silence followed. Wanted to sink to the ground because of my lame lie that I probably offended Lena. Well, goodbye then. Bye. The nurse was still smiling spitefully. I turned and walked away, almost running. Though in fact I really wanted to run, common sense advised me not to. I came back to my senses when I reached the square. So what's next? I decided to visit my cabin in order to collect my phone. I don't know where I'll find myself today, but having a watch is always useful, though having a wristwatch is much easier. Suddenly I heard a different tune, which was cutting through the usual noise of the camp. I listened to it carefully. Sounds like an electric guitar. 3 repeating chords, no more. But this melody still felt somehow warm, as if vacuum-tube-based audio amplifier was used. Could there be such luxury here? Sound was definitely coming from somewhere near the stage area. I wonder who that could be. Okay, so who cares? I gotta keep looking for answers. Okay, good. Whoever that is, what's the big deal? I have better things to do. I came back to the leader's cabin. Olga was lying lazily on her bed reading a book. Semyon, what are you doing here? That's what I could ask her too. I've forgotten something, so I came back. You were absent at the lineup. Oh yeah, I apologize. Alright. Nevertheless, you should do something useful today. Just as I planned, but I have my own vision of what useful means. Like? You could go to the square to help with the cleaning. Slavia is in charge there. Strange had just been there and they hadn't seen anyone. Or you could visit the boys at the electronics club. They asked for me for a hand. Those fathers of invention again. Finally, you could help at the sports club. What are they up to? They're renewing the pitch, fixing the benches, changing the goals, nets, and so on. Honestly, none of those options suited me. Why is she always trying to burden me with work? Seriously, except for Slavia, no one ever works here. While some people in particular are enjoying their free time with a youthful spirit. Every one of the leaders' attempts to keep me busy seems to only serve one purpose, to prevent me from finding out my current location. Really, all the deep and vital questions concerning my existence are swept away by a brim together with all the rubbish and litter. In my case, taking some time to work will probably pay off, but just like someone suffering gangrene and rejecting an amputation, I will stand in my beliefs. You know, I already have my own arrangements. Oh, really? What kind of arrangements? She bucked up. Well, I can't just tell what I'm really thinking about. On the other hand, why not? No, it's too dangerous. At least, now I maintain a fragile balance and nothing is threatening me. Everything seems that way. Just as I thought. Well, exactly as she thought remains secret. You probably have not yet realized how important it is to participate in social life. The only way to become a pioneer capable of being a role model. I didn't want to just sit through another long lecture, so I decided to accept one of the offers. Sometimes the answers in this work can be found in most unexpected places, or at least I wanted to believe. So should I choose for you? The leader's voice turned authoritative. I could do it myself, thank you. I mumbled and left the cabin. Okay, so what one do you gotta pick? Fine, I'll help the sports club. Okay. I was hoping that I could escape the obligatory work if I pretend that I'm helping the sports club. They obviously have tons of members and could probably just do as well without a single extra pair of hands. However, I'd better visit the sport ground, at least to check in there, just in case Olga finds out that her ideal pioneer slacks off and dodges community service. You never know. I could imagine worse punishments than the public throwing off at a party gathering. I wasn't really planning for that to happen. All of a sudden, I saw no cleaning, painting, or repairing, but a football match. They were playing 5v6. I took a closer look at the players and recognized Ulyana. I won't interfere, I'll just watch. The teams were obviously mismatched. One team consisted entirely of younger kids that looked about 12 years old. The other team consisted mostly of teenagers. Besides, they had one extra player, Ulyana. Mind you, what just one extra person, moreover one girl, do. Soon enough I realized that I was mistaken. Ulyana had a good dribble technique, cutting through the defenders one by one. She obviously lacked teamwork skills, but they weren't even required at this level. She scored with an inviolable regularity. I came closer to the pitch. Hey, come join us. They're short one man on their team. I guess that's what counts as community service here. We've already finished everything, said Ulyana, sounding insulted. I looked over at the sports ground. The benches were freshly painted, new nets placed behind the goals. How did they manage to get through all this stuff? Come join their team. Well, given that I escaped the last time, I should indeed play now. Ball at the center, we start. With the very first touch, I put the ball into the top corner of the delicate strike. Actually, it wasn't that difficult. The pitch was at most 50 meters long, and the goalkeeper of the opposing team could have even reached the crossbar. Sometime later, we tied up, despite our team being 7 or 8 goals behind at the start. Objectively speaking, one should note that Ulyana's team scored a couple of goals during my time here too. More precisely, she scored. You couldn't even say that she had Ronaldinho's tricks or precise Beckham shots in her pocket. She could kick the ball into open spaces, and coming up towards the goal, she just toe-punted every time. However, such a dull strategy brought positive results. I could not keep an eye on every opponent, and my teammates were not much help. Certainly I played better than all of them, and theatrically I could have scored as many times as I wanted, but it seemed unsportsmanlike to me. Winning isn't everything. It's second part that counts, isn't it? But after Ulyana's words, penalty shootout. The winner wins the game. I made up my mind and I didn't want to lose. At the time it was 11-9 in our favor, so it wasn't reasonable to object. You're in goal. I'll shoot. We switched then. One shot each? Yes. I stood up at the line and got ready. She took a run and sent it straight into my hands. That's not fair. Why it's not fair? Well, I mean, what's not fair? I'll shoot again. Okay, just do it, I said, smiling. The second shot would go better than rugby. One more time? Absolutely not, she sniffed. But you shall never score a goal against me. We'll see. I put a ball in my right lower corner of her goal with a precise kick. Ulyana didn't even move. However, there was no point. Penalty kicks like that are uncatchable. Semyon looks like I won. She answered nothing. I just looked at me resentfully. I need to lighten in the mood. Don't get upset. And that's when the music started playing, calling the pioneers for lunch. Alright, I'll get even with you some other time. She laughed, waved her hand, and ran in the direction of the canteen. I jiggled the ball a little and followed her. ... Who is marching forward in a row? It's our pioneer squad. Pioneers in a row usually marched in a canteen in the Soviet Nazi camp. I was looking for a place where no one could disturb me, like what happened before, just so I can eat in peace. And for that, at least not to be the last one to come. But I was pretty sure whatever happens here happens whether I want it to or not. The canteen was crammed as full as an egg. Olga was standing at the entrance, guarding it like a hawk. Well, Semyon, where are you working hard today? Hard enough. Well done, truly well done. And the hardest is yet to come. I just bet. Fine, take a seat next to the girls. She pointed at the table next to the pillar. Sylvia, Ulyana, and Lena were already sitting there. Not bad company, at least not the worst. I got my meal and went up to them. Do you mind if I sit here? I caught myself sounding a bit clueless. There were no other free places anyway. No, of course not. Please do. Lena smiled. Lena remained silent. Today, the meal consisted of a plate of borscht. I suspected there was some meat lurking in it, but I had no evidence. Some poultry, chances are chickenus domesticus, with fried potatoes and a traditional glass of compote. I found myself liking the local food more and more. I guess it just came to the conclusion that I had no other choice, which means there is no use in complaining. Thank God there's something to eat. Coming to the bowl tonight? I don't know. He'll come. He got nowhere to go. Ulyana said happily. You will come for sure? Of course, I can't miss the opportunity to watch you make your fool of yourself. She got it right, so I decided not to reply. What about you? Asked Lena. Yes, she replied briefly. See, you should go too then, said Slavia as if leaving me no choice. Don't forget to wear your tailcoat. Apparently Ulyana was so pleased with her joke that she laughed out loud. But I really had nothing to wear. My wardrobe was just a pioneer uniform and my winter clothes, which would be more inappropriate even in the evening. And what will you be dressed in? Entertainer? Secret. Well, will it be a little dress just like in kindergarten Mentini? Ulyana turned red. It looks like I managed to offend her. Oh, she looks mad. No, I will wear a biohazard suit just so I don't catch an infection from you. Oh. And whatever kind of infection are you afraid of catching from me? Enough, you guys. Don't quarrel. Idiocy, of course. Looks like Ulyana was highly pleased with herself, as she thought. Brilliant answer again. You know, if you already had the flu, you couldn't catch a cold, so you can play at that game. What are you implying? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. I looked away slyly. Do you mean that? She went red again. I don't mean anything. Guys, given that Lena interfered, it was probably really time to stop. You're asking for it again. You're gonna regret it. What, you'll finally wise up? Instead of replying, Ulyana grabbed a plate filled with borscht and tipped it over my head. Sorry. This game met an unexpected finale. Oh, you little... She jumped up and tried to run away. But this time she won't get away. I grabbed her hand. And now what? I just can't smash her head against the table. This pantomime lasted a few seconds. Suddenly, Ulyana skillfully grabbed a glass of compote and splashed it into my face. That way she managed to get free of my grip. She dashed off towards the counter, and I chased her. This resulted in several flip tables, a pile of smashed tableware, 5 pioneers crippled by various injuries, and full of exhaustion of both parties. A draw, sort of. A belligerent draw, with too much belligerence. We stood before each other and breathed heavily. Tell me you won't behave this way again. And you? Olga snuck up from... Olga snuck up on us from behind. When you think about it, such a riot couldn't go unnoticed. Well, are you satisfied with yourselves now? Her voice appeared to be calm, but I wasn't sure she was just about to explode. And who's going to clean up all this mess? Exactly what happened. Who am I asking you? Who? Him, replied Ulyana with complete confidence. Her, I objected less confidently. Both. The camp leader brought a conclusive end to this ongoing argument. Generally, I wasn't sure that my share of blame was more than hers, although Ulyana didn't have a drop of guilt on her face. Beat it. I'm not cleaning. Ain't nobody got time for that. This is his fault. He started it first. No, it isn't. Oh, yes, it is. I'm not going to sort out all that nonsense. Semyon, go grab a mop, a bucket, some cloths, you know, that kind of stuff in the closet. And as for you, she looked at Ulyana with such a burning gaze that I felt a bit sorry for the girl. You start to pick up broken tableware immediately. Olga took a deep breath and continued. You're nothing but trouble. How many times have I told you? I decided to skip the lecture and went to the closet that appeared to be near the exit. My nose is starting to run. Suddenly, a perfect idea flashed in my head. Why don't I just run away? Sure, Olga has caught us already, but I'm not the one to blame. Of course, I'm not that true pioneer she keeps talking about. but in comparison to Ulyana, anyway, she's the principal culprit. It's not like that having nothing better to do than clean up mess here. I have to seek answers. The truth is out of there. Somehow flashed through my mind. Okay, what does the guide say? Should I help her? Stay and help her with the cleaning up. Okay. Now, I already know why it's hardly a good idea. For starters, Olga has caught me already, and dashing off would only aggravate my punishment. As well as that, I was indeed partially guilty. Of course, it was all her fault. If I hadn't reacted like that, probably we could have avoided this trashing. Probably. I opened the cabinet and took out a broom and mop and a dustpan. Olga wasn't anywhere near Ulyana by the time I returned. She's gone? Can't you see it for yourself? Ulyana looked upset. All youthful spirit vanished without a trace. Okay, hang on a sec. I'll go wash myself a bit first. I shot an angry glance and head towards the exit. I washed the scraps of lunch off myself and returned to the canteen. Well, no escaping it. We have to clean up. It was all because of you. Just a single gaze from her gave me the creeps. Of course it is. It's me who's guilty of everything. It's me who's a local natural hazard. Oh, shut up. She's still kind of strange, so she's not lying. She's not trying to avoid this cleanup duty. Ulyana had a solid opportunity to just run away and leave me alone, but somehow she did the exact opposite, diligently gathering broken plate fragments, mopping the floor, picking up the chairs and tables. In fact, she was so fast I had a tough time keeping up with her. Well, now, aren't you suddenly acting all goody-goody? It's not like I want to spend my whole day here, you dork. She still sounded irritated. Listen, you guys understand you can't behave like that. At least not to such an extent. For some reason, I decided to try and give her a moral lecture. I haven't done a thing. It was you who was calling me names. Ulyana grabbed a bucket and mop and went farthest to the corner of the canteen. Looks like she's still angry. Looking back at the mountain of broken tableware, I finally began to understand the scope of the catastrophe. We're lucky that at least the forks and spoons are made of metal. We still have something to eat with, but there are hardly any plates left. Hey, you only called me at this shout. I went over to her. I don't get why do you hate me so much? Her face became so serious that I was ready to believe that it wasn't just another trick of hers. Why do you think so? I had no idea exactly why I'm asking you. I don't hate you. It's just that sometimes you behave like, well, you know. As simple as that is, but still true. Like what? I have no idea. She lifted her gaze to me boiling with curiosity. Well, for starters, what's the big idea in pouring compote all over me? You were asking for it. She smiled for the first time since we started cleaning. Yeah, sure. I heaved a deep sigh. So what do you expect from others, then? Nothing, she replied acidly. The discussion was over, so I continued. Whew. It's getting hard to read because I'm still a little bit sick. And yeah, it's kind of hard to keep reading this long. The discussion was over, so I just continued cleaning up in silence. It took us a few hours to fix up the canteen. At last, all the broken tableware was gone. Chairs and tables were in their designated places. The floor looked clean. We were sitting in the canteen together with Ulyana next to the food counter, breathing heavily, deservedly resting. Now you see how much effort has to be put in because of a silly trick. But I'm not tired at all. Though sweat was pouring down her face told the opposite story. Oh well, good for you. So what are we going to do next? I don't know about you, but I'd rather go. Nope, that's not all. You have to, she hesitated, help me with another little thing. Think of another silly prank? You bet. She was smiling broadly. I'm not your man here. I'm more than fed up with just one punishment for today. Okay, here's the deal. If you help me now, there won't be any more pranks. Sure, that was an inviting prospect, but somehow I couldn't bring myself to trust Ulyana even for a moment. Well, it wouldn't hurt to ask. So what is your cunning plan? We're going to steal the candy. What? I should have expected something like that. Candy is for kids. Soon the chef will go out to dump the trash. Nobody's going to see us. Count me out. Whatever, she grunted and turned away. Then I'll do it myself. And I won't I couldn't even finish the sentence. Ulyana already jumped over the counter, ran to the cabinet, opened the door, started rummaging through it. Hey, cut that. It's not like you haven't got enough problems with Olga. She didn't reply. You won't get away with just cleaning duty for something like that. Ulyana closed the cabinet. She held a huge bag of candy in her hands. Ah, you little. Put it back. She stuck out her tongue and dashed off through the back door. I couldn't just leave it at that. I darted off in pursuit. Sure, the girl had quite a head start, but I still funneled all my energy to the chase. I won't lose her again. We ran through the square, turned at the music club building, came out into the forest trail. Oh, I'd almost caught Ulyana when she stopped abruptly. I couldn't pull as sharply, so I crashed into her, sending us sprawling. We rolled down onto the grass. Gotcha! I gave a victorious shout. No, you didn't, she replied with an ashamed tone. Ulyana was lying under me, her face right next to mine. I felt an erratic breathing in the heat of her body. Sure, right now she's laying child, but soon enough she'll become a woman. It was pretty embarrassing. You gonna rape me? She said, coming back to her senses. You want me to? Anyway, it was more like a game to her. Sure do. She gave a cunning smile and snorted quickly. Or was it just my imagination? I'm not really in the mood. Oh, whatever. Ulyana reached up and bit me on the nose. I wasn't expecting that and pulled back a little. Just a moment of hesitation was enough for her to wrestle out and run a few dozen feet. Watch it. You're gonna regret this later. She laughed out loud and disappeared into the woods. The candy bag was left lying on the ground near me. I wonder if she dropped it on purpose. It's getting near dinner time, so I had to hurry up and return the candy, and preferably, very preferably, stay under the radar. Of course, I'll explain the situation. It was Ulyana who stole the item. But who's gonna believe me? Olga was already waiting for me at the entrance to the canteen. Good job, Semyon. On what? I had the bag of sweets behind my back. The bag was transparent and too big to put in my pocket. I was talking about the cleanup. Everything is clean and tidy. Well, yeah. Where's Ulyana? I wish I knew. She'll come soon. Okay then, go have your dinner. I entered the canteen. To my lack of surprise, it was full. I really didn't know how to return the bag without being noticed. Sure, I could do it in the evening, but what do I do with it now? Semyon! I turned around and the slave was in front of me. What's that? She looked at the bag I didn't manage to hide in time. She caught red-handed, or more like sweet-handed. Time to prepare for a scolding. These are sweets. Where from? I stole them, damn it. Got them from Ulyana. Oh, I see. Same old song and dance? What do you mean? It's not the first time she's stolen sweets, and why am I not surprised? Let me handle this. Thanks. Slavia saves the day yet again. She took that and headed to the buffet. I had not decided to listen to what she was going to say while returning the sweets, so I started to look around the canteen, looking for a place to sit. It seems that I had to share a dinner table with Electronic and Shirk. There was no more places to sit. What's happening, gentlemen? Every time I had to deal with them, I got an itching desire to tease them, or at least drop to some cheeky or cocky banter. It might be too risky to behave that way, but the Electronic brothers were my primary source of positive emotions. How you doing? Fine, what about you? Hits and misses. Did something happen? Lots of stuff. Mind sharing? Nah, some other time maybe. Suit yourself. He made a helpless gesture. We're going to the ball after dinner. Electronic giggled. I know that. Who would you want to ask out? I hadn't thought about it yet. What about you? It seemed that this question caught him off guard. Ask Ulyana, that would make her happy. No thanks. Okay, Kim, Barbie doll pose. Electronic firstly waved his hands. And you, sure, you gotta ask Elisa out. Thanks, I'll pass. He looked calmer than his mate. Oh, come on, guys, it'd be fun. And in any case, we've got the things to do. We still have to finish the robot. Oh, that's a marvelous idea. Ask a robot out. Can it dance? It can't even walk yet. Sure, it probably missed the point completely. Why would it be a great demonstration of our achievements in front of the camp? And what should we do to show to and what would we show to them? Yeah, you're right. They both stared at the place disappointedly. My mouth is getting dry. My throat's getting sore. Oh God, reading this long is making me feel bad again. But I'm gonna play this. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Dinner was over, and pioneers started to disperse. What will you wear for the ball? I asked Shirk and Electronic. We don't have anything special to wear. We'll go as we are. He indicated to his party uniform. They don't seem to care about their appearance at all. Well, why should I care then? Wearing my uniform clothes isn't an option, so I'll just go like this. When does it start? After 9 o'clock. Got it. So are we going to it? Whew, gosh. Got a breath. I left the canteen and deeply inhaled the fresh evening air. I remember those rare dances I used to go to at school. Hesitation, insecurity, even fear. I couldn't dance. I didn't know how to react if someone had invited me. I wouldn't dare to invite someone myself. All in all, I felt pretty uncomfortable about it, and it was even more unpleasant to watch others having fun. It wasn't envy. More like it was a disconcerting feeling that people were able to enjoy something so odd for me. I thought that there was still lots of time till the ball, so I could sleep a little to be fresh in the evening. I returned to the camp leader's cabin. I flopped onto the bed and instantly shut my eyes. Oh God, don't tell me it's going to be another dream. Strangely enough, I got up right on time without an alarm. The clock was showing 9. Such a rare thing to happen. I felt sluggish, though. Probably wasn't the best idea to sleep during the day at all. After all, well, I have to go. In a couple of minutes, I was sitting at the square. The loudspeakers and some DJ equipment were installed near the monument, and the trees were decorated with light strings. A typical country ball. A lot of pioneers were around, but no familiar faces, so I just sat on the bench and waited. I don't have to dance after all. Maybe I'll just be able to just sit and chat with someone. Hey there, sad face. Ulyana, here to suggest something. Come on, let's dance. It's way too early. There isn't even any music yet. Blah, you're so boring. Oh yeah, I'm not the merest person for such an event. She ran away. She only did wear something like an evening dress. Pretty funny. Hi, Slavia. Hey. She sat down by my side. How's the evening? Fine. Why are you so sad? I'm not. Okay, well, dancing will surely cheer you up. Maybe. Don't forget to save one dance for me. She laughed and ran towards the music equipment. The situation was getting serious. I wouldn't be able to sit through the whole dance party. Hi. Lena came closer. Oh, hi, you're here too. Is that such a wonder? Yes. Okay. Gonna light this party up? The joke fell flat. ... Lena blushed and looked down. Well, maybe that's not the best idea. Setting things on fire? Okay, then yeah. She laughed. It looks like the whole camp was at the square. The pioneers formed large troops, talked, joked around, and laughed. At the DJ's panel, Ulyana argued loudly with Olga about the playlist for the evening. And here it is. The music started to play. I didn't know the band or the song, but if you ask me, I felt really that I really felt that I'd tag it Soviet pop classics. The pioneers just stood there for some time, as if not hearing the music. It's always hard to take the first step, especially if you're pretty sure you'll be the only one who would take it. Ulyana seemed not to grasp that simple truth. She raised her sitting on the square at a few bounds and cried out loud, "What are you standing around for?" and started to wiggle ridiculously. Wiggle is the exact word. You couldn't find a better one. She looked so silly and funny that I couldn't resist laughing. She noticed it. Hey, semyon. I pretended I couldn't hear her. Stop pretending. Come over here. I kept ignoring her. The pioneers slowly realized that they weren't too sexy for this party and started to dance. It looked really silly from my point of view, shaking one's arms and legs to beat a long-forgotten hit. Come on, get real. Of course, I couldn't dance at all, but this thing couldn't be called a dance either. Hey, Semyon, what are you sitting there for? Don't you want to dance? I was so deep in thought that I didn't even notice Slavia. Not really. Are you sure? She smiled. Maybe later. Damn, what am I even doing here? Slavia left. I probably should not refuse her after everything she did for me, but I wasn't made for such activities. The pioneers kept on dancing. At least they liked the ball. Olga, the blah blah blah, danced too. I consider that not really appropriate. The leader has to keep order around, especially since she is not 17. Olga came over to me as if she felt that someone doubted her professionalism. Why are you not dancing? I don't really want to. Your choice, she smiled kindly. Then I have a perfect task for you. A task which is, any other activities seem better than dancing. You cleaned the canteen well today, but I think you haven't fully toned yet. Ah? Ulyana. What? Come here. I came over to us reluctantly. I see you've had enough dancing for a long time to come. No, I haven't. She was swaying like a pig, and it seemed that the leader was right. Why did I say letter? I have a task for you in semyon. But Olga, Ulyana begged, it's dance time now, and it's late. It won't take much time. Slavia was sorting the book's library, but haven't finished. You only have a couple of shelves to do, but no buts. For goodness sake. I don't like public work, but dancing, I'm ready. Good job, Simon. That's my boy. A real pioneer. You should follow his example, Ulyana. Ulyana didn't appreciate such an example, though. So do it. The whole camp is relying on you. I'll remember this, she hissed. The camp in the evening was beautiful. Silence and peace calmed me. Only the distant music from the square reminded me that I'm not alone here. And Ulyana, who just came back, you should do the cleaning in your dress, though. I grinned. This is all your fault. She breathed heavily and her face was red as a tomato, so I wouldn't have been surprised if steam started coming up from her ears. You. It is all your fault. Why me again? If only you'd just been quiet. What would have changed? She'd make us do it anyway. You. She wasn't able to speak normally and just hissed. So what if I kept silent? Do you think she would let you keep on having fun? Susanna looked at me. She seemed to calm down a bit. Really, you don't care at all. You can't even dance. So what if I can't? If you had danced with me, it would have been fun. She returned to her childlike mode. I might have, but you see how things turned out. We won't have a chance to see who is a better dancer. Well, we approached the library. It was already dark outside. I was slightly surprised by Olga's request, or more like an order, to sort books at night. This is so bizarre. There was no light inside, and the switch didn't work, unpleasantly clicking with every push. It might have actually worked properly, but the lights weren't turning on. Wait, I'll get the candles. Candles? Who has candles? I was just about to ask how she knows what candles' matches are when two small lights appeared on a table next to me. That's better. Ulyana said, satisfied with herself. What's next? What's next? Wait, God, I'm messing up, sorry. She looked at me inquiringly. What will we do next? How should I know? She chuckled. Great. I walked around the bookcases. Olga said something about a couple of shelves. I touched the books to make sure there was not dust on them. It looked like someone did a really good job before us. Having examined the whole library, I didn't find anything to clean. The leader must have made a mistake. Suddenly, I heard a footsteps from behind. The old cracked floor was squeaky, so Ulyana wasn't able to sneak up on me unnoticed. Boo! I turned around. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Please. Oh, whatever. She turned away resentfully. It looks really clean here, so definitely illuminated rows of books looked at me reproachfully. Unknown author from long forgotten years. I wonder if anyone still remembers Sam. Xenia must remember. I'm sure that she remembers everything. Okay, sit down. Ulyana moved the chair over to me. I sat on it. So what's next? Let's tell scary stories to each other. We have 2 chairs and 2 candles, so there should be stories. One mine and one yours. Okay, I agreed without thinking. I hadn't the slightest intention of going back to the dance, and going by my experience, there was nothing doing in the camp at night, especially as I knew a couple of nice stories which would be able to really scare Ulyana, and that was awesome. You first. Okay. She made herself comfortable and braced the chairs back with her arms and moved the candle as close to her face as possible. Once upon a time, in a village far away, lived a boy, just a normal boy. He went to school, played with other children. There was nothing so special about him. One day he made a bet with his friend that he wasn't scared to go to the abandoned house. Ulyana left a pause. So, what was in the house? Don't interrupt me. Inventing it on the fly? She pouted her lips and continued. They say a witch has lived in that house, and people still see her ghost in there at night. Nobody knew for sure, but everybody was scared. The boy had said that it was all nonsense, and he was ready to spend a whole night in there, so he did, but he didn't return in the morning. He was found hanged. Ulyana stopped talking. Thrilling. Did he hang himself with shoelaces? I said skeptically. She frowned again. Is it not the end? Of course not. They buried the boy the way it was supposed to be, the coffin and stuff. His relatives and his friends grieved, but they couldn't bring him back. After a few days, people started to disappear in the village. Nobody knew how or why. They just vanished into thin air. The villagers wanted to call the police, but a friend of that boy who hid himself in the witch's house told him that he'd seen the boy. Nobody believed him at first, but people kept on disappearing. Then the villagers decided to dig up the coffin. There were long nail scratches on the inside of the lid, but there was no body. Where did he go? Ulyana moved the can away from her and made a scary face, or at least that's what she thought was scary. In the end, the villagers disappeared, and occasionally vampires near the witch house tell that they saw two ghosts. Ulyana blew out her candle and stopped talking. It looked like the story was finished. Wonderful. I applauded. Not quite surprised with it, but... Are you scared? Frightened? Oh, I'm just shivering all over. Oh, whatever. Tell your story then. I'm sure I won't even flinch. Oh god, I know the story. Okay, I've collected my thoughts and decided to tell a story I had read on the blog of an acquaintance of mine a few months back. He was a quite good storyteller. At least I liked his style, so success was guaranteed. I certainly didn't remember the story word for word, so I told it with my own words. There was a faraway space station, the last boundary of humanity, located on the border with a hostile civilization. The third month of the ceasefire. It can't really be called a ceasefire, and more like not a war. A small group of survivors is exhausted by a long siege. On one hand, they can retreat, leaving the outpost. On the other hand, they can understand that they won't last even a minute if the enemy attacks. Despair is the best word to describe their situation. The food is running out. Their ammo is only for a few shots, which will only seem like grading fireworks. There is only plenty of air and water, owing to their regeneration systems. People don't like to talk to each other for weeks at a time. They may not just see the point of wasting their time on communication while death is at the door, or behind the meter stick station armor to be precise. It is really better just to wait for their rescue or enemy's attack. Both outcomes will lead to the end of this torture. This situation, just like a chess game against an invisible opponent, it's the hardest part in the game. Any wrong move will lead to defeat, yours or your enemy's. But does the enemy know about it? They might be afraid of making a wrong move too. Meanwhile, the humans may move their king, but only one square forward and then one square back again. Whew, God. Any other move will automatically lead to defeat. A step forward is an implied threat to attack, and a step backwards is a deliberate necessity of defense. The game would be much easier if the opponent was sitting in front of you. Even an experienced chess player can't hide nervous eye movements, the occasional drop of sweat, or shaky hands. On one hand, if then is futile, everyone realizes that the situation is hopeless, because no one would decide to make a move, escape the imminent and defeat. On the other hand, when seeing the opponent in front of you, understanding that he is totally like you and can make a mistake, you can easily mistake everything. The opponent may feel the same difficulties. There are the circumstances of a few men and women on the edge of the universe. There are no orders from headquarters for several days. The last orders contain nothing useful, only the usual demand to keep on defending. One square forward, one square backward, the swinging of an eternal pendulum. After the beginning of the 4th month, the commander decides to retreat. He reasons that the lives of his soldiers are more important than the mythical ideals of humanity. No one will judge him for this. Moreover, they can't change anything. The preparations don't take much time. The greatest asset you can save from a sinking ship is your life. The whole station crew aboard the rescue vessels. The long sequence starts 3, 2, 1, and nothing. The bay doors don't open. The send mechanics are checked for malfunctions, but they don't find anything. The doors should open, but they don't open the second time or third time. The commander's orders his crew to leave the station and rescue pods, but they can't launch either. They explain it as a technical malfunctions. The crew tries to communicate with headquarters in vain. After a few days, the executive officer noticed that there is nothing on the radars, nothing at all. No planets, no asteroids, no enemy ships, just an endless darkness. They run out of food in a month. Everybody thinks that this is the end, but no one dies. Not after a day, a week, not even after a month. And as if there is no need for food to sustain human life. At this moment, the majority of the crew goes insane. Some of them just stay in their rooms and pray. Some wander around the station and some try to commit suicide. But neither point-blank shots of the plasma, nor hydrotank diving, nor even simply slitting the veins bring any results. Days pass by, months, or maybe even years. Nobody keeps track of time. Insane people recover their minds again, and normal people will go insane. It repeats many times. In the end, the crew accepts its conditions. They start to make up occupations, theatrical staging, sports tournaments, readings of self-written books. A lot of family couples appear, and many more break up. It is an eternal flow of time, and a closed loop of human life, and only the darkness on the radar reminds them of the emptiness outside. But there is an emptiness inside the station too. In the end, people stop living. They just lie in their rooms and sleep. Not 24/7 at first, but as time goes by, they learn to fall into a trance. Every person had his own dreams. One returns to childhood, one gets his lost love back, one defends ideals of humanity with the blaster in his hands. Some others just wander in space. Shabby from skirmishes with the enemy, a rescue vessel docks the station. A boarding squad gets inside. The whole station looks like a piece of scrap metal which has floated in space for thousands of years. The reactor has shut down a long time ago. There are marks of the laser shots in the walls. The equipment was all smashed. They found decayed skeletons of people who died horribly defending the frontier of humanity in almost every room. The only one cryptic message sent to the headquarters implied that something was wrong. Save us. We just want to die. I finished the story and looked at Ulyana. Her face was concealed by darkness. So that's the story. I blew out the candlelight. Ulyana shrieked, rose up, and threw herself towards me. God, her face. It looks like a pumpkin. We fell on the floor. What's up with you? Nothing. Her voice sounded very scared. Looks like my story hit the jackpot. I mentally congratulated myself. Ulyana wasn't having fun, though. She embraced me, shivered, and sobbed. What's wrong with you, you silly thing? I patted her head. It's just a story. It's not real. You and your stupid stories. Ulyana called up to me more. Were you that scared? Yeah. Frankly, I didn't expect such an honest answer from her. Everything's alright. Time heals all wounds. She'll calm down. Listen, Simon. What? Never mind, it's nothing. She buried her face in my chest. Minutes passed. Okay, I understand. Maybe we should go? I listened. Ulyana stormed quietly. Hey, wake up. Can you even fall asleep from fear? Wake up, I said. No reaction. I tried to stand up. Ulyana certainly didn't weigh more than 40 kilograms. Imagine yourself lying under such weight. It's not really easy to stand up. You would think that Ulyana was dead if not for her breathing. I certainly couldn't make more effort, but then I'd wake her up and it all will start again. Such an inviolable situation. Maybe there is the option to wait until she wakes up by herself, though. She certainly won't fall asleep all the way until morning after such a story. I looked through the window at the starry sky. I wonder if there was really a distant outpost with a ghost crew. My eyes slowly closed, and in a moment I fell asleep. Wow, dude. And just in a moment, you were that tired. Black screen. Is something going to happen? No, guess not. Well, okay, guys, this has been that was day 3. I'm still feeling pretty sick and stuff, so it's kind of hard to keep reading this long. I'll try to get another video in after tomorrow night if I'm feeling well enough. I was feeling okay, but man, kind of reading for this long kind of took it out of me. Shortness of breath and all. But I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in day 4.